Superman Tower of Power is the SNS drop tower at Six Flags Over Texas. They say everything is bigger in Texas, and Superman embodies that. This is one of the tallest drop towers in the United States, standing 325 feet or 99 meters tall. But size is not everything, and I'll explain why in this review. SNS jumped into the amusement park scene with their pneumatically powered drop towers in the 1990s. Initially, they offered either space shots that blast you upwards, or turbo drops that thrust you downwards. In the late 1990s, they began offering a combo tower that combined both rides into a single experience. Six Flags was the first customer of Scream at Fiesta, Texas in 1999. Just 1 year later, they upgraded Six Flags New England's single elevator tower. The ride was also renamed Scream, and it was equally as tall at 20 stories in height. While the original tower was still just capable of running in turbo drop mode, the two newer towers featured combo mode. But Six Flags was not done. Their next two would be significantly larger. First was Venganza del Enigma at the park now known as Parque Warner Madrid. This opened with the park in 2002, back when Six Flags owned the park. This opened as Europe's largest drop tower, standing a whopping 377 feet or 115 meters tall. Second was Superman Tower of Power at Six Flags Over Texas. This opened in 2003. Standing 32 stories tall, this ride took the record for the tallest drop tower in the United States from Power Tower at Cedar Point. This record has since been taken by a few other drop towers in the Six Flags chain. Superman also opened as the tallest thrill ride in all of Texas, but it has since lost that record to the 40-story tall Texas Skyscreamer just down the midway. Superman's listed height is for the overall structure. The ride itself only takes riders about 25 stories into the air, but that's still very impressive. And this ride looks incredible on over Texas's skyline. You can see the massive tower all throughout the park. Not only that, you can see this ride for miles. The ride looks mighty imposing when you look out from the nearby hotels, and you may even see it while flying in or out of DFW Airport. Beyond the height, the ride has some light thematic touches. The wraps on the cars feature Superman himself. Each tower then has a different color from Superman's suit for the central piping: red, blue, and yellow. Then the top of the tower features the iconic Superman logo, which looks particularly sweet at night when illuminated. Then the entrance is a bit weird. The ride is essentially on its own island, so you have to cross these bridges to access the ride's entrance. You have three queuing options with this ride. First, you have general standby. Superman usually has a manageable wait compared to most of the park's other thrill rides. Unless you visit during peak periods like Spring Break or Fright Fest, the queue usually isn't more than 20 minutes. Second is Flash Pass. This is the park's paid skip the line system. You can either purchase an all-day unlimited option or single shots for this ride alone. This usually will get you on the next cycle. Third is a single rider line. Because of how this ride features 3 seats on each side, there is usually at least 1 or 2 single seats per cycle. This typically is much faster than the regular standby line. When you visit could impact how many towers are in use. When I visited during spring break, all 3 towers were in use to deal with the immense crowds, but when I've visited during quieter periods, I've seen as little as 1 tower in use, so definitely scope that out before hopping in line. Each tower holds 12 riders maximum. If all 3 are in use, this attraction is a pretty good capacity for a drop tower, but the line can move at a glacial rate if just 1 is open. Your experience could also vary mightily depending when you ride. Whenever I have visited, I've always seen this ride operating in combo mode, but I know it can operate in more basic space shot or turbo drop modes if needed for capacity or maintenance purposes. And from my experience, the ride can also vary depending upon which side you get. For whatever reason, the yellow side was noticeably weaker than the others this past spring, and that was very much apparent when watching off-ride. While the red and blue side launched you all the way to the top, the yellow side stopped maybe 2/3 of the way up. Not sure if that's the norm or if the ride was having some temporary issues. Once seated, you'll have the over-the-shoulder harnesses similar to the other SNS drop towers. I would prefer a lap bar like some other drop towers, but these restraints are comfortable. Assuming you get combo mode, the ride begins by slowly lifting you off the ground. You'll then hear the pneumatic cylinders fill. This usually makes a deafening sound, but it's noticeably quieter in Superman. This makes it harder to discern when you'll take off, which I enjoy. It adds an extra layer of suspense. The launch is sudden, but in terms of raw power, it is just okay. It didn't feel any stronger than the smaller S&S shot towers, which definitely surprised me. If you're riding on the red or blue side, you'll get good floater airtime at the top of the launch. If you're on the yellow side, you'll get no airtime whatsoever, at least based on how it was running this past spring. On that side, your momentum simply runs out well before the top. You then bounce down and are slowly raised back to the top. You're then held there for several seconds. This highlights one of the best parts about the ride, the view. Given this tower's colossal height, it should be no surprise you can see for miles in each direction. You get a smorgasbord of sights, whether it be the park itself, the nearby sports stadiums, or the city skylines in the distance. I sort of wish you were held at the top longer to have more time to take everything in, but in short order, you are released with no warning. You then drop downwards. This is where Superman sort of falters, no matter which side you're on. You get an okay pop of airtime at the start, but the descent quickly mellows out and feels sluggish. Because of how S&S towers operate, the whole drop is controlled, but this one felt even weaker than usual. Superman does not produce that stomach drop sensation I look for from a drop tower. After the fall, you get a quick blast of positives at the bottom since you need to rebound back up. And these Gs are quite strong, as the ride hits 4 Gs maximum. This is one noticeable advantage of S&S drop towers. Others simply hit the brakes and come to a stop. Superman then has some mellow bounces, giving you some more time to take in the nearby sights. Then you return to the load platform, ending the experience. So what would I rate Superman? I would give this drop tower a 6 out of 10. This assumes I'm on the red or blue side, which I believe is more indicative of how the ride should run. I like the space shot portion. The quieter launch took me by surprise, and there's some nice airtime at the top. As for the turbo drop portion, I love the views of the top, but the drop itself is a bit underwhelming even by S&S standards. That being said, this ride is still worth a spin for everything else, especially if you encounter a minimal wait. Needless to say, there are several drop towers I prefer elsewhere. Just in Texas alone, I would take the far smaller Drop Zone Akima Boardwalk or Drop of Fear at Wonderland. Both have way stronger drops, and even among S&S towers, there are quite a few with more oomph to them. But Superman is still an iconic part of Six Flags Over Texas' skyline, and it does have its merits. Just know the bark may be worse than its bite, especially when it comes to the drop. So those are my thoughts on Superman Tower of Power at Six Flags Over Texas. What are your thoughts on this drop tower? Do you feel similarly to me about this ride? Let me know down in the comments. If you enjoyed this review, I would appreciate it if you gave this video a like, and you consider subscribing, because there'll be a lot more roller coaster and amusement park videos here at Canopy Coaster. Thanks for watching.